Good morning, and welcome to the JBDC Virtual Gift and Craft Biz Zone for Thursday, February 25. My name is Sansia Campbell from the Corporate Communications Department, and I'm your host for this morning. Just want to apologize for the delay in starting. We had some technical difficulties. You know how technology is, and so we had some challenges, but we're going to proceed because we so value the opportunity to be able to share with you this morning on this very important topic. Now, as you would already know, the JBDC Gift and Craft Biz Zone is our newest webinar series, and it follows the launch of the National Craft Policy last year, which seeks to support the various stakeholders involved in the gift and craft industry. So this morning we have two experts in our midst to share valuable information on the theme, obtaining and preparing your raw materials for production. Donna-Gaye Uter is Product Development Officer right here at the JBDC, and she specializes in jewelry craft, while Mr. Valentine McClean, one of our long-standing clients and the owner of Koda Handmade. He specializes in bags, bowls, calabash, jewelry that is made from calabash and coconut shell, and also from other natural material. So together, they have a wealth of experience in working with various types of raw materials to produce beautiful craft items, and they are going to be sharing that knowledge with you this morning. As usual, we will take questions following the presentation, and of course, if you have questions during the presentation, you can feel free to drop them in the chat. In the meantime, however, I'm going to hand over to Donna-Gaye and to Valentine so that they can share with you this morning. Over to you, lady and gentlemen.
All right, so good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining in. Today with me, I have Valentine McClean. He has been with us from the beginning of time in terms of JBDC. So what we have today now is going into depth, giving you some more ideas as to how Valentine go about getting his materials, the different processes that he does in cleaning them, and a lot of excitement. All right, so welcome, Valentine.
Morning, everyone. Nice having you. Well, today we are here to share our experience in whatever way we can. So please join. Thank you.
All right, so in order to have Valentine share with us what he has in store, we're going to be using a PowerPoint presentation using the different images, and you'll be able to express more on it. All right. All right. So the topic for today is obtaining and preparing your raw materials for production. All right, so this first slide that we have is showing you the coconut shells in its raw stage, also refining and a product, two different types of products. So Valentine is going to give you some ideas in terms of how we go about getting these materials ready.
Yeah, morning again. Well, everybody know that you can get coconut from the supermarket, the markets. Our coconut board on Waterloo Avenue. Price is very good here. Preparing the coconut shell now. One, you can soak it in water. You can use a wire brush or a wire wheel to get the fiber inside out. That's one way. And to sand and polish now, for me now, I use like 5 up to 7 grade of sandpaper to get a final finished. Items now, you can do spoons, cups, bowls, bags, jewelry, and other stuff from coconut shell. So.
All right, so Valentine, for persons who have never done products from it and looking into that market, what advice do you have for them?
All right. Well, it's something you have to really love doing it. Yeah, you have to, and if you really love it, you have to put your best out.
All right. Next up, we have our very own cow horn. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of products. I mean, a lot of persons might not think they're using of the cow horn. So this is a market that we can tap into. Collecting the materials from the livestock, the different types of products that can be produced, and the uniqueness behind it. Valentine can elaborate for us.
Okay, corn now. Wow, beautiful raw material to work with, but is sterilizing is one of the main and major things. Okay, before I go there, from the arbitrary, you can get it there, or if you know anybody do a little slaughtering in the backyard, you can collect the ants from them. And sterilizing now, first you have to soak it in fresh water first, with a few hours to get whatever inside out. And secondly now, you boil it with a little bleach and water. Then then pour it back into some cold water to get it back hard again. But too much bleach can dry out and get the crystallized. So the best thing after you boil it out, you put it in some cool water, then you scrub out inside, then put it to dry, but not too much sun. What happens if too much bleach and sun get in it, it get crystallized.
All right, so Valentine, how soon after the horn is removed from the animal do you say a person should go ahead to start doing their process?
Well, maybe like 2 weeks, because inside there's an inner core inside that needs to comes out. That normally you boil it out and use a pliers to pull it out. Sometimes if it's there for more than 2 weeks up to a month, it sometimes just naturally drop out. Yeah.
All right, so what are some of these products that we can get from the cow horn?
Well, you can get rings, bowls, cups, a bang, jewelry. Just name it, a whole lot of stuff you can get from cow horn.
All right, do you have anything that you want to show them in terms of a finished sanded cow horn?
Okay, yeah, I have a few pieces right here. Not finished product as in wearing jewelry, but pieces that can become jewelry.
All right, so hold it up. All right, so what we are looking at now is actually a piece of the cow horn that is well polished.
Yeah.
Now, during the polishing process, you see different shading, different contrast, the color changing, and it is very lost in terms of the sheen and the surface. All right, so what is it that you use this to make?
All right, it's gonna be a pendant.
All right.
Yeah.
Is there any way that person can modify the surface itself? Can it be carved?
Yeah, but it can be carved, you know. But when you're gonna carve, you have to use, or it's an on itself. It's an on itself. So to carve on an on, you have to carve the tip because it is very thick, and it depends on the on itself, though. Yeah. And you use a Dremel, or if it's skill enough, you can use a carving knife. It's gonna take you the whole time. So a rotary is very faster to angle the job.
So how detailed can these images be?
Oh, detailed. It's up to you and whatever design you're gonna put in. But the finished product now is when you polish, and you will see the whole thing show up.
Okay, great. All right, so on this slide, we're showing you where the cow bone is incorporated into a jewelry piece. You can see where it is in its raw stage, and the upper images there showing you actually a necklace and one that is embellished using a wire finish.
Yeah.
All right, so Valentine, can you share information pertaining to the using of other materials, merging other materials with the cow bone?
You can add wood, you can add metal, you can even add this coconut shell, corn, you can use a whole lot of even stones. You can use leather to get that finish.
All right, it would be interesting for you to give, how do you get that cow bone?
All right, same slaughterhouse arbitrary. Somebody do a little slaughtering in the backyard. You can bone from there. Even at the supermarket, you can buy the beef or the goat or the mutton, I should say, and you can use the bone from it.
All right, so you're saying if we actually cook a pot of soup, then you can actually use that bone out of the soup.
Definitely.
All right, so you see there's a lot of ways that we can go about obtaining our raw material.
Yeah.
All right, so we have this slide showing you an a bang. On the bottom section, showing you actually the bone itself in detail carved, very intricate. All right, so in terms of the drying process for the horn, is it the same process
Yeah.
time for the bone itself?
Yeah, man, it's almost, yeah.
Okay.
One is tougher though. The bone normally is tougher than the iron. Depends on where on the iron you're gonna carve stay.
So the same bleach.
Yeah, man, same way you sterilize the iron, the same thing with the bone.
Okay. So how hard it is to actually cut the material?
Well, if it's by hand, that's a long time. But if it's a bandsaw now, you know, it's easily cut right through. Or a chop saw.
Okay. All right. So we're going to be moving on to our calabash. Now, the calabash is very popular to Jamaica, and oftentimes you'll find it in the craft market. You'll find it in the Rastaman village where they use them as soup bowls. So now Valentine is going to tell us how he go about using his calabash material.
Okay, calabash now. Well, you know, you can source calabash almost everywhere in Jamaica. But clean calabash now, you have to know when to pick it. If it's not fit enough, when you cut that thing, it's gonna stay in your hand for days, maybe weeks, could be months. When it's can sometimes if you go close to the calabash itself, you can smell that sweet smell coming from the tree itself or the fruit itself. All right, and the outside normally rough, just like a wall look rough. That's when you know it is ready and have a yellowish color. By cleaning it now, you can use a hacksaw, even a handsaw, a bandsaw to cut it. Cleaning out now, you can get a whole spoon, sharpen the tip to scrape it out. Secondly, what I use now is a bench grinder, convert a drill chuck on it and use a wire wheel, and that clean out everything from out of it, yeah.
All right, so what are some of the products then that you can get from the calabash?
All right, back to the bone and the cow and almost everything you can get from it. Jewelry, containers, wall hangings, you just name it. You have to be very creative when you're working in raw material like that.
No, Valentine is very handy in terms of, I'm sure that he has something to show us pertaining to a finished product from the calabash.
Okay, yeah. Right here we have a necklace, calabash and leather, stainless steel wire, and wax card. Hope you can see it clear there. And this is the finish inside when you use the wire wheel. Clean like whistle. Yeah.
All right, so in terms of cutting Valentines, it's the same way in terms you go about the cow horn and the cow bone. Is it softer to work
Oh yeah,
with?
the calabash is much softer. Yeah. And again, we have a calabash bag here with leather.
Can you say the material is durable?
It is, but not 100% as the cow one or the bone. But what you normally do is line inside with either fabric or leather to get it a little harder.
Okay, all right, that is great. All right, so to finish on the calabash, what we have on our screen here is examples of it being carved and dyed.
Yeah, stained.
It is very easy to absorb ink.
Yeah.
All right, so can you tell us different ways, different type of inks and stuff that you can use to actually color the calabash?
All right, like for me now, I will boil the logwood, tip a little salt in it. So when you carve on it now, you just rub it over it with a toothbrush or a piece of sponge, leave it to dry, and depends how strong the dye is, and then that color would stay. If it's not for eating purpose, you can use wood stain, and you just rub it inside where you carve, and you just leave that dark finish there, whatever color you get.
All right, to add to what Valentine just spoke of, there are different ways you can introduce the fabric dye as well.
Yes.
All right, and what this does is it enhances the surface. What would you say that you use as a coating to protect that sheen on the calabash?
Okay, for me now, after sanding, I polish with polishing compound they call AAA. What you use to polish silver, gold, copper, or brass. If it's for eating purpose, but if it's something gonna hang on the wall or just for inside, you can use lacquer or varnish.
Okay, very good. All right, so we're over to our logwood. Now, a lot of products, oftentimes we'll see in the store, the coasters, the wooden boxes, jewelry pieces, and key rings are some of the craft products that you can get from the logwood. Valentine, what is your experience going out and sourcing your logwood?
First, I normally get my logwood from Clarendon. I don't remember exactly where the place is, which is on the roadside. Those guys sell posts, because they normally cut it when it's ripe, and by the time you go and get it from them, it's already dry and cure. Yeah.
All right, so what are some of the tools that you actually use to get it sanded and all of those?
Okay, I use a bench grinder, a sander. I use up to 5 to 7 grade of sandpaper to get that finish before we polish. So, and you have to use, when you're using sandpaper, it have to be grade to grade. For example, I start with like 60 grade, 180, 240, 320, 400, then 600. And then you polish and then you buff.
What are some of the products that you have produced from the material?
Right now, this is a piece of, well, spalted tambourine wood. And spalted tambourine wood now is wood you cut or wood you rescue. So what you do now is leave it outdoor for 2.5 to 3 years, cover it with leaf, put up the hair and leave it. So what happened on the leaves break down with the moisture and the dust and everything. So this is all the coloration in it comes.
So this is a natural process.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what are some of the other products that you have produced from
all right. I don't have much here today, but just like the koan, the bone, the calabash, you can get all type of jewelry, cutting board, just name it.
All right, so for those that are interested in going into using of the wood itself, there are ways that you can buy your materials. You can also brand them. So for instance, you look at the coasters, natural coasters, and on the surface, you can put your business name or something and burn into the wood itself to create designs as well. All right, so we're also going to look at our palm seed. This is very common in Jamaica. No, Valentine, this is a very interesting product. Not a lot of persons are familiar with the using of the palm seed. They only see the jelly itself.
Right.
So Valentine is going to tell us some of the things that he produces from the seed itself, how we go about harvesting the seed, and what it is that you can start doing if you're interested in making products from it.
All right, palm seed, now you have different type of palm seed. You have the tagoa, which is mostly from South America, South Central America. Sometimes they wash on the shore after heavy rain or hurricane. You'll find them on the beach. And you have cohoo now, which grow wild in Belize. We have a few trees here in Jamaica. We have abe. We have African palm, iron nut, which is ones I work with. And you can sand them by using a tumbler, which is move faster than using it. And if you're doing big scale, if it's small, you can use a rotary tool with a mandrel and sand and polish them there. Products, you can do earrings, necklaces, rings, basically, yeah.
All right, so how you just list a few names, how are we able to identify them by the names that you just spoke of?
Well, I had a book where I loaned to someone. I haven't get it back yet. That book would told me about the different palms. Then you can also go online and check them out. So if you go like oak garden and you pick up a few palms, sometimes the trees will have a name on it. In that way, you can identify the different palms.
All right, thank you, Vali. All right, now we're at our very common ebony.
Yeah.
This itself is another wood that you can find in Jamaica. And it is vast in terms of the contrast, the colors and everything. It is very vibrant. Now, Valentine, have you ever worked with the ebony, and what is the experience producing products from it? How soft can you say the material is?
It is next. It is next to lignum vitae. It's very, very, very hard.
Right.
A regular saw will cut it, but it's gonna take the whole day to cut it. So you need a power saw, either a chop saw, a chainsaw, or a bandsaw to cut it.
All right.
Yeah.
So we know that a lot of persons would use the ebony to use as a cutting, a meat block. All right, but we have actually made jewelry products and other craft products on it. On my screen, I'm actually showing you what the ebony wood looks like in terms of a jewelry box and an earring and there's an image where it's actually used as a tabletop.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a lot of interesting products that is used across the board. So not just craft, but also in wood making, furniture making, and so forth.
Well,
Okay.
Oh, one more thing. Working with ebony, you always have to cover your nose. The cuttings, when you're cutting that thing, you're not supposed to inhale that dust from it. It's kind of poisonous. That's what I was told a couple of years ago. So please have that in mind. If you're gonna work with ebony, always cover your nose.
Can you say that it has an odor as well?
It does, and a burning to the nose. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that information, Vali. A lot of persons can now put themselves on safeguard when they're planning to do things. All right, so the lignum vitae is another popular wood that is utilized in the craft and the home. So now we have some images here. Valentine is going to tell us about his experience working with this material.
Okay, lignum vitae now, which known as supposed to be the toughest wood. Way back in the days, they used to use lignum vitae to make gear for ship, way back before metal. Here in Jamaica now, we use lignum vitae for carving, jewelry, bowls, cups, mats, and stuff like that. It's not an easy wood to sand because of the oil base that is in the art of it. So we normally use a power sander while sanding, and then you can use your hand to get that final finish before you polish.
All right, so some of the products that you have produced from this material now.
Yeah, which I haven't got any here today, but bowls, way back, I haven't done on the longest while, but mainly jewelry like necklaces, earrings, rings, stuff like that. Yeah.
And there are ways that you can go about incorporating the metal with it. Now we have on our screen where there's a set of rings where the material is utilized in the center of it. It is similar, like you're doing a centenic ring itself. And in terms of color, you can also stain it to bring out the natural color itself. All right. Anything else you want to share on this material?
Yeah, you can also add crushed stone or brick to the material. So what you do now, you have to crush the stone or the brick, different colors stone, you sieve it, get it to powder. So what you can do now is carve whatever design you want in the wood, inlay it in it. You can use epoxy, it's supposed to be stronger than the regular super glue or crazy glue. That is the next way to enhance the product, to give it a different finish.
Okay, great. All right. We are looking at sea glass.
Sea glass, yeah.
No, it's a very vague name because a lot of persons are saying probably sea glass don't really come from sea. So is there something behind this whole sea glass theory that you can share with us?
All right, sea glass. So we call it sea glass because we really found it on the beach. And what the beach does, what the sea at least does is sand it, give it to that smooth finish. You can rub it on your skin and you don't get a cut or a scratch. For me now, I collect a whole lot of sea glass to make jewelry, like earrings, necklaces, pendants, anklets, you name it. But there's a trick in it. If you're gonna use certain adhesive with the glue, the sea glass, you have to make sure you collect it, you soak it overnight, then the following day you wash it with a little bleach and water. then soap and water and leave it to dry. Because what happened, because of the salt in the glass, you don't see it with the naked eyes, but sometimes when you put the adhesive to hold it onto maybe a ring or something, after a while it lifts.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so everyone knows familiar that the sea glass actually comes from our beer bottles.
Yes,
Any
yes,
type
yes.
of glass bottle that you can think of. Once it's in the salt water for over a period of time, the
Yes.
surface itself gets more smooth.
Yes, it tumbles by itself, yeah.
All right, to go a little further in terms of stone, Valentine, have you worked with anything outside of the sea glass?
Yeah, I work with a different type of stone that way back in days, but because of not having the right machines and other tools, I kind of not really work with it that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of drilling the sea glass,
yes.
what is
You use a diamond burr, but you have to bore in water. And one way, when you bore it in water, you can get a piece of Scotch-Brite and put it in the water, and then you put the glass in on it while you're drilling it so it doesn't fly around. But it has to bore in water, and you have to use a diamond burr, not a regular bit or burr. It has to be diamond.
Now, the technique that Valentine is explaining about placing it in water is that once the drilling takes place, there's a heat action that is occurring. So once it's in the water, it's like it's a hot and cool process in order to prevent the glass from shattering.
And the diamond wear out from the tip.
All right, so there are a lot of things and in terms of techniques that you have to understand in terms of going in working with the sea glass. All right, now this is our favorite area, the leather, and we're utilizing our goat skin, our cow skin. Also, we have heard about using of the chicken foot skin in order to make leather. So now Valentine is going to tell us about this. This is what we love.
Yeah, man, definitely.
All right.
All right, folks, before we go further, I don't make leather. I buy it from where it sells. Oh, for example, now, our local goat skin now, if you can see it on the screen there, that is how we normally get it from where the guy does it. So to give it a nice, smooth finish, what you do is soak it for a while in water and then watch the bubble. As soon as the bubble stop, you know that the water penetrates the whole of the skin. So what you do now is get a piece of plyboard or a big tree and you stretch it. Use small nails or tacks and you stretch it until it becomes a little wider. And when it's dry now, you can just rub it like you're washing a piece of fabric and it becomes soft.
Okay, so in case of saying somebody from home decide to use the goat skin there, is there another way that they can go about it?
You mean the raw skin or the
raw skin?
Oh, the raw skin now. What I really know about the raw skin is just to, after they kill it and kill the cow, the animal, what they do is put it outside for a while, drain for a while, and then they sprinkle salt and then pour salt.
So what does this salt do?
It preserve it, cure the skin from insect, don't eat it.
Okay.
And then from there, they take it to the tanner.
All right, so what are some of the products that you have produced from the leather?
Jewelry, bags, mats, yeah, basically.
All right. Do you have anything that you want to show us in terms of visual, a tangible product that is done from the?
Oh, not from the goat skin. All right. I hope you guys can see this. This is a few pieces, small pieces of goat skin. Not much like this piece here. It's a small piece. Yeah. And this is a patched leather bag. Patch with small pieces. Yeah.
So what is it like constructing the bag using the scraps?
Well, first the design have to just come from the head, then you put it on paper. But for me, you know, I don't put on paper anymore, you know. It's already in the head after all of these years. Yeah, so first what I do is get a blank sheet of a few blank sheet of paper, big enough to the size of the bag. Then now I cut out different parts and pieces, then put the leather over it, mark it out, and then you put it back.
Okay, for persons who are wanting to go into leather craft, what kind of advice can you give to them?
First and most is measurement. Yeah, if your measurement is wrong, everything gonna throw off. So measurement is the first thing, then the right tools. Sharp tools is always a plus.
What are some of these tools?
Well, I use a regular knife that you can get at the leather shop. I use a box knife, we call it utility knife, because you can keep sharpening that blade. You need straight edge, you need punches, you need leather needle, and a regular sewing needle, and then your card, or you can even cut lace from the goat skin itself.
Okay. So the same process that you have mentioned about the goat skin, is it the same that applies to the cow skin?
Yeah, in a sense, the difference now, the cow skin is a little thicker.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you worked with that material?
Yeah, man, the same bag here. So it mixed with cow skin, and as I said, a few small piece of goat skin. Yeah, it's all handmade.
Now we know that Jamaica once had the opportunity where they were doing tanning.
Yeah, man.
That's no longer
No
happening.
longer.
However, there are maybe small scale persons that are doing their own.
Yeah.
What would you say in terms of that market coming back? Are there any opportunities in there for us as Jamaicans to say diverse there?
Yeah, in a sense, because a lot of people asking to learn something new, and people, well, for example, when I go to like the small shows, people will come and question us where they can get leather, where they can get certain raw material, and that's kind of short interest that people really want to get into the business of making things, jewelry, bags. So the tanning now, there's one and two people doing a small thing in their backyard, not a big scale. But right now, I'd love to have back a tannery in Jamaica.
Okay, so currently, where are you getting your leather pieces?
Well, my leather pieces downtown sometimes, somebody coming down and ask them to buy a piece, half a skin or a whole skin or whatever money can bring for you.
All right, can you give us a little idea in terms of the different types of leather, in terms, so like the tooling leather, different from the thinner leather?
Yeah.
Is there anything in terms of information that you can share?
All right, the tooling leather is more like a vegetable tan, which they don't use chemical for that. What that you use tools for tooling whatever design you want on it, and you have leather like just for fabric. When you say fabric, now you use it for like a pants, a shirt, a jacket, a vest. Yeah, so that is with two different types.
Okay, all right, so that is what we have so far using our images. Now we have worked with Valentine on a lot of workshops hosted by JBDC. Valentine, can you tell us your experiences coming in and working with our clients from time to time?
Oh, well, I don't know how to put it, but JBDC I would say a great thing going. The amount of people I train because of JBDC, and I try to put my best and a lot of love in what I'm doing. I'm passionate about certain things. Yeah. Yeah, man, I love it. I love what I'm doing. And as I said, JBDC is doing a great job, and I hope they continue and even get better and better, which they're doing that,
All right, so with all the images that we have shared from the different areas, giving you ideas how Valentine has go about sourcing his raw materials, the different ways that he has prepared them in order to get them market ready. There are a lot of things out there that you can put your hands on. It is just for you to make a choice, because it's a lot of things. All right, so that is what we have to share today. We're going to turn over back to Sansi.
All right, thank you so much, Donna and Valentine. Very interesting presentation, very striking images, And I love the conversation and the, you know, the way you two interact together, because it just shows the amount of experience and knowledge, but also passion that you have for what you are doing. We have a couple of questions in the chat that I would want you to address for me though, Mr. McClean.
Okay.
Janelle Giles is asking, are the seeds long lasting and how are they preserved?
Palm seed now, palm seed is like gold, you know. As long as you don't leave it outside to get wet or burn it, can last for a lifetime. Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
and I'm sure you would have shared with us some of the pieces that we can have made from the palm seed, right? What are some of the products that we can get from the palm seed?
All right. Before we even go further, Christmas palm is a red one, if everybody know that one. That one is a little softer than the norm, but it you can get all right. Other palms now, you can get oil from it, which I normally mill oil from those palm seed. Products now, as I say, you can get ring, earrings, necklaces, fuel. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, before you go, fuel now, Cahoon. I would love everyone to Google Cahoon. And
spell it for us, Mr. McClean.
Cohune.
Okay.
Yeah. Cahoon now, the Germans used to use the Cahoon palm to run their steam engine back in World War II. Yeah. So it's something that burns long and get a lot from it.
Okay, wonderful. Judith Gale is asking what type of dye or ink is used on the calabash, and if it's the same dye that is used in food preparation.
All right, for the food preparation dye now, is if you're gonna use that calabash inside your kitchen to eat from. If it's something to hang on the wall, as I said earlier, you can use the wood stain.
And what if it's a handbag you're making with it, or a belt or so?
You can use the same wood stain, and then what you do, you sand it off back and you use lacquer, but you have to thin out the lacquer and then you rub it over it, so that will seal it.
Okay.
All right, to add to what Valentine is saying now, you can also use your fabric dye. You would mix the same portion as if you're dyeing fabric, but you'd use in smaller quantity, and you leave the material in there to soak.
Right.
So once it's absorbing that liquid now, it is also taking in the color. Once you remove it, you leave it to dry, and then you can also seal the surface.
Okay, great. And then Janelle is also asking, how do you get the sea glass?
Oh?
How do you get sea glass?
Oh, okay. Well, you walk the beach. Yeah, you walk the beach and you use the different colors, sea glass, and you just pick them up. But you have to know what type to pick in, because some of them not completely tumble, still have sharp edge. But you just walk the beach.
But it seems I think most of these raw materials are readily available in our environment. We just need to know where to find them.
It's in abundance.
Yeah.
In abundance. Yeah.
So you just have to keep your eyes peeled once you're in the field of producing these items. Wherever you go, basically, if you go on the beach or you go to the park or whatever, just keep your eyes peeled to see how many of these types of raw material you can bump into, really. And then Grace Kelly is asking, can any tree be used like mango or breadfruit? I'm wondering if she's Grace just okay. It seems as if you understand.
I mean, for jewelry.
Well, if it's jewelry you're referring to, Grace, just drop that in the chat so that we can know. Sharon is asking, do you use plastic bottles to make items as well?
Oh, I used to know, but the fumes from it is not so healthy, so not anymore.
Okay.
I just plan stuff in them.
One thing you'll find, Sharon, is that Mr. McClean is very health conscious. So if you notice, he keeps mentioning, the toxicity in any of the items, or if whether or not, it's burning properly or not, because one of the things that is very important, I know that recycling of our plastic bottles is that it's very important, but I mean, I guess using it to make products would mean that you are probably hoarding them in a particular way in order to be able to produce in the quantities that you'd want. Oh, Grace said jewelry and boxes. So if you
Okay,
can use
okay.
mango tree
Yeah,
or
man, mango and breadfruit give you a nice, it's very light though, you know. So like for jewelry boxes, breadfruit would be perfect, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nick is asking about if you could talk about the oils.
Okay, you need a whole lot to get. And you're gonna need a press. It's not an easy thing because I was using an hand press. So if it's someone gonna get into it as a business, they'll have to get something that works as a machine. They get plugged in and you press the oil, but you have to dry the nuts first.
Wonderful.
Break them open, then put them to dry, and then you press. But it's not an easy thing.
And this is the nuts from the coconut tree.
Yeah, from different palms, yeah.
Okay. All right, great. So if anybody else has any more questions, you can feel free to drop them in the chat. Sharon is saying that she's health conscious too, so she appreciates your guidance, Mr. Valentine, because you know, even though you want to produce these fantastic products, you also want to do it in a way that protects the environment that you live in. Because the same way that you want to be able to get raw material from the environment, you have to do it in such a way that the environment will continue to produce the material that you will need. Anything you want to add to the conversation, Donna-Gaye?
All right. I know with the plastic bottles, there are different things that you can produce outside of jewelry. So like cutting them and stocking them. Pinterest do carry a lot of interested ideas. You can also Google to find different end products that persons have made that is also safe for the environment. So you're not limited to only jewelry.
Okay, and in terms of creativity and design, you encourage our artists to go on Pinterest and get inspiration and all of that.
Right. All right. The good thing about information is that it is available to everybody. There's no lock and key on it. And we'd also encourage persons out here who are working in certain things. If you have ideas, you can pass on them. There's no need for you to keep your information to yourself, because when you even pass on, you want somebody to say, I learned this from this person. And that's why we have Valentine here. He does not hold back anything from us. We call him for everything. All right?
One more thing. To collect raw material again, the best time to collect raw material on the beach is like a week to 2 weeks after every shower of rain. Everything
shop up, it come up on the
and it takes like a couple of days to reach the shore and then dry, and that's then where that is when you can go and pick up your raw material.
Oh, okay. So like me now, even though I am not doing anything with it, because I'm the least creative person you'll ever meet when it comes to working with my hands and stuff. But like I like the pretty stones.
Yeah.
Right. So it would be a good time for me to go out there and just collect some stones off of the beach.
Yeah, man, but not a whole lot though, just a few, you know.
yeah, man. Just a few. It won't be a lot. All right, thank you.
Also, to in terms of for persons who may not be creative or don't want to try to be creative, you can also collect them and make a profit by selling them to persons who want to utilize them. So it is like byproducts and producers at the same time.
I just get a business idea.
All right, you see, and it is free.
It's absolutely free. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us this morning, Donna-Gaye and Valentine. This was indeed an enlightening conversation. It was very light, but also very serious.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm sure that our attendees this morning gained some value from what you presented. So I really want to thank you for sharing with us this morning. I also want to remind the audience that if it is that you know somebody that wanted to be a part of this session this morning but was unable to join us, the session will be available on the JBDC's YouTube channel at JBDC Jamaica. So just give it just go on the site, press the notification button, follow us as well, so that once the video is uploaded, you can view it at your convenience. And you will also be able to view any of the sessions that we have done in the virtual biz zone or the entrepreneur's journey, or earlier when we were doing JBDC in concert. Everything has been listed on on our YouTube channel. So you can always feel free to go on and binge watch at your convenience. I also want to remind everybody that the JBDC offices remain open. We are at 14 Camp Road, Kingston 4. 928-5161-5 is our number. Give us a call and we will direct you to the person that you need to speak to. You can also send us an email at info@jbdc.net and we will also send it to the relevant person. Call us and make your appointments, because as you know, we are in a pandemic, and so we have to protect you and protect our staff members as well. As always, feel free to join us again for any of our sessions. Thank you again, Valentine and Donna, and everybody have a great rest of the day.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
no problem.
thank you for having us. It was a
Thank
great
you, Valentine.
pleasure.
We're gonna call you back out off the hill again. So
I was just getting warm, you know.
Yeah, I know. So you can go back up and get back cool.
Yeah, man.
Again, but we're gonna call you back off the hill again.
Yeah, man, no problem, man.
Yeah,
Getting to like it, you know?
Yes, yes.
All right.
All right, thank you. Stay
Yeah,
safe.
man, you're welcome.
All right, bye-bye.